Well, hello there, friends, and welcome to my channel. My name is Renee, and today you may see some changes. So for many of you, you have been longtime followers of me, and for those of you who are new, you might say, wait a minute, this is your first video. Nope, this is not my first video, but I had to make private all of my other videos, and I'll explain that in a second. But I am so glad to be back. You will notice a few changes. First thing you'll notice is that my channel name is completely different. And the reason for that is because it used to be under my full name, and I wanted to change that because I wanted to make it so that I was a little less easy to find. And not only that, I, in the past, have done a lot of post-crossing, postcards and things like that, but I have a lot of hobbies. And so I wanted to be able to share all of my hobbies with you. And so this is why it is now Nene's Hobbies. Nene is the name that my granddaughter calls me. And so I just thought it was fitting. So this is now Nene's Hobbies. So for those of you who are longtime followers, you're probably wondering, well, what the heck happened to all of your videos, Renee? Well, you know, we live in interesting times. And as a university professor, I have to be very careful now about what I say. I live in a state that is not aligned politically with my views. And there are people who would like to, let's just say, turn you in, if you will. And we're hearing about university professors who are losing their jobs, and I can't do that. And so in order to prevent something like that from happening, what I have done is, because I have been politically a little outspoken in the past, and so I have removed all of those videos, and I'm not sure if I'm going to go through them all to see which ones have something that I said that was political and which ones that didn't. So yeah, it's just easier for me to start afresh. So welcome to Nene's Hobbies. The other thing that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to try to make this where it is in chapters, so that with each individual chapter, you have the ability to go and see what you're interested in. So let's just say that you are not interested in postcards, but you're interested in cross stitch. Skip to the cross stitch part. I'm happy to have you no matter what you are here for. The other thing to know as well is that I don't monetize my channel. And so if you are seeing ads, that is not me. I have long said in the past that if I monetize my channel, then that means that it now becomes a job, and I already have a job and I don't need any other jobs. So I'm going to start off today. I'm going to give you just an overview of several of my hobbies, and yeah, I'm excited to share them with you. So the first place I want to start is with post-crossing, because that has long been my bread and butter, if you will, with this channel. And I know a lot of you who are subscribed to me, that's what you are here for. So I'm always going to start with the post-crossing. And I'm also going to start with just April, what I have received in April. So everything that I received in January, February, and March, I'm not going to be talking about that at all. So let me share with you, first off, the official postcards that I received. So the first one that I received came from Rita in Russia, and she sent me this beautiful card with a lovely illustrated woman in traditional clothing. I love that. I love seeing traditional clothing. And they are the typical, I have to get used to a new setup, filming on my phone now, but the traditional Russian stamps. The second postcard came from Chile, And this card just arrived the other day. It's a very interesting card. Look at the traditional clothing here. They are celebrating, it's Chile Folklorico, okay? Now, here's what I want to share with you a little bit about this card. This arrived just the other day, okay? And when I went to register it, I couldn't register it. It had been over a year. And so luckily it told me who the person was so I was able to notify them that I had finally received it. But I want to let you know that this was sent, and I received this on, I think it was March 31st or April 1st. Not March, April 30th, somewhere around in there, the beginning of May. This was sent on July 26th, 2023. There's the date right there, 2023. So this card was traveling around for 3 years. The stories it could tell, I would love to know them. So those are the official postcards that I received. Let me share with you the cards that are the round robin. For the round robin, I participate in one round robin every month, and there are 30 people in that. For the month, I always have a challenge. The month of April is Earth Day, and so I ask for recycled food packaging or any other kind of packaging. So let me show you what I received. So from Kimberly, I received Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries. This is my absolute favorite cereal, but this is a cereal box. I received, this one is from Jessie, and it is Pizza Box. And again, these are all postcards, you know, they're postcards. But I received pizza. I received a recipe off of a cake box. So a triple layer chocolate Ritz pie. I'm going to try that recipe. I received another cereal. This is Big Cheers for fruits and veggies in cereals. This is kind of like Cheerios. I received a box from Animal Crackers. I used to love Animal Crackers as a child. And then I think the last one, nope, a couple more. I received coffee from a friend who is a fellow professor. That is Mike. And we run on coffee. Well, I run on tea, but he runs on coffee. This is a taco kit from Canada. She said that they were very salty, if you're interested in buying them. But I loved VW bus. This is came from a person who collects postcards about VW buses, so I thought that was very fitting. And then I think this is the last one that I received that was food packaging, was one from Miss Haven. This is baked dog snacks. So she was excited to receive that. The other cards that I received, we have Dolphin. This is Bottlenose Dolphin. I'm just back from my trip to the Bahamas with my class, so that was very fitting. Here we have some cherubs who are making a cup of tea. I love tea. This one came from Rocky. Oops, this is a food packaging. Sorry about that. This is Girl Scout cookies. Love Girl Scout cookies and usually support them when I see them. I only saw one time this year. So, teacups. So many lovely teacups. Lawrence sent the next one. It was another cup of tea. Kai sent the next one, and it is from Red Rock Canyon. It is a state park. I've been there. It is lovely. The next one came from Leslie, and Leslie sent me a Happy Easter Postcrossing meetup card. Wonderful. I love postcard meetings. Oh, I haven't been to one, but I love the cards. The next one came from Joanne, and this is Lava. She was in Hawaii and picked up this card. She thought of me when she saw the lava. The next card comes from another Renee. She spells her name slightly different than I do, but this is a card for Earth Day. Love that. The next card comes from Michelle, and it is from Times Square in New York City. Carol sent me a golden retriever. Love that card. They are such good dogs. Craig sent me a card that he had found in his stash. He is preparing to move overseas and has been going through his stash, and he found this one. This is Geronimo, I thought it was, but I couldn't remember. The next card came from Joanne, and this is celebrating Earth Day, which I love to celebrate. The next one came from Kate, and it is some boys at a fountain. I also received, this came from Terry, and it is for Earth Day. This is a view of Earth from above. This is terraces for farming. The next card came from Danielle, and Danielle sent me this wonderful card of Notre Dame in Paris. Barbara sent the next card. It's one of those linen finish cards, and I love it. And so this is a science card, of course, all about evolution. If you don't know, I am a geologist and an earth scientist and a paleontologist, an invertebrate paleontologist. Mel sent me this card from, it is a castle, and it also has a recipe on it. And then the last round robin card I received came from Joseph, and this is a vintage style card from South Lake Tahoe. Then I received some wonderful direct swaps. So the first one that I received is from Bex, and it is a lovely Easter scene. And Bex is really cool. She puts all of this glittery stuff down on their cards. It's just fascinating. I'm always amazed because that's actually quite thick on there, that it makes it through the postal service. Blue sent me the next card. Blue goes to a lot of Postcrossing meetups, lucky duck. And so sent me this wonderful card. Charmaine sent me another card. Oh, isn't this one gorgeous? I love the colors on this. I love illustrations like this. I love things that are a lot of different colors. Rob sent me two postcards. The first one said, protect yourself. And I think this was in, Rob and I have spoken about some of the things that were going on. And I think that this was his way of saying he understood. And Rob is one of the members of the Unicorn Gang. And so Rob sent me a card with two unicorns on it. And then this also came from Rob, and this is a card of Paulina Harris. And also has a unicorn on it. So we are the Unicorn Gang. The Unicorn Gang is a group of 8 people, myself, Jilly B living her life her way, Rob that dad guy, Lewis, also Smokey. We have Isabel, and we also have Olia. And everybody who has a channel will be linked down below. So please do go check them out. So speaking of Jilly, I received a package from Jilly, or a big envelope from Jilly. And inside, Jilly, by the way, is, she is the leader of the Unicorn Gang. And so Jilly has been able to pick up a lot of beautiful stamps that the British Postal Service, the Royal Mail puts out. But this first one here is one that she wrote for me, and this was for Easter. Purple is my favorite color, so it is absolutely perfect. And she put on, let me make sure there's no address on here, but she put on the unicorn sticker right here for the Unicorn Gang. But then she also sent me, this is one of the new releases, the roses, and I love roses. They're beautiful. And so she sent me the information about the new release, and then she also sent me the Queen Elizabeth rose postcard from the set, and it's a postcard that I can use. So I love that, and thank you, Jilly. I was looking back, we have been corresponding, Jilly, Rob, and I have been corresponding now for like 5 years. So Postcrossing brought us together, and it has just been so much fun. Then the next envelope that I received, the last envelope that I received, came from Tiny Mouse. Her channel is linked down below as well. So Tiny Mouse, if you're watching this, I'm waiting for your next video too, sweetie. So she and I have become really good friends, and I appreciate seeing her channel so much. She does not just Postcrossing, but she also does traveling around in the area, looking in the thrift stores, and you know, some of the different places she stays, and I just really love watching Tiny Mouse. So she sent me a lovely card, and she was very worried, where did all of your videos go? And so I was able to email her and let her know. I had completely forgotten to let her know, but she sent me some postcards as well. So she sent me this first one for Marmite, and these are postcards that are blank that can be written. So Marmite. And then she ran a couple of meetups. And so this one is blank for me as well, the people who were there. And so I can send this one out. And then she also sent this one. I know that she lives fairly close to this spot. She's visited it in one of her videos. And then the last one, oh, I love this card. I love this card, Tiny Mouse. In fact, this is a card, and it's blank. But last month, I was invited by the Postal Service to come and give a talk about postcrossing. And so this was one of the cards actually that I showed that I had received as being one of my most favorite cards ever received. So thank you so much, Tiny Mouse. I don't think you knew that, but it was one of my absolute most favorites. So that is all I have for Postcrossing. So if you are only here for Postcrossing, I'm going to shift now into cross stitch. So for cross stitch, one of the things that about 2 years ago I did was I started to get back into cross stitch. Now, I was an avid cross stitcher many years ago. Pardon me. Let me take a drink real quick. I'm not used to talking this much. But I was an avid cross stitcher many years ago. I learned when I was in 7th grade, so I would have been about 11 or 12 years old. And even when I was talking with the boys a couple of weeks ago, I have 2 sons, I was talking with them, and they said, oh yeah, we can remember you cross-stitching, you know, back in the 80s, Mom, when we were little and everything. And then all of their stuff just kind of took over, and you know, I stopped cross-stitching and things like that. And so at that point, I just let it go, and I took a 30-year hiatus. But I have wanted to return to doing quiet things in the evenings and trying to build up a new set of friends and everything. So I picked up cross stitch again. So I want to show you a couple of ones that I have just recently finished. I'm going to show you, and this is not all that I have recently finished, but just ones that I have recently finished that I really enjoyed. And so let me share with you a few of the ones that I have recently done. I'll show you what I'm working on now. Yeah. So the first one that I want to share, this is one, and it was free from Doreen Jones, the pattern, and it was called Little Fish or something like that. But I finished this one, and I actually made it into a little hanger. But I loved the bright colors on this one. And so this is, it just made me smile, and I finished it right before I was going to the Bahamas, and I thought that was perfect. So the next one that I finished is one that is called Disagree, and I will put a picture in here so that you can see what the pattern looks like. It's by Rebel Stitcher. And the one that they did is on, the cover photo is on a light colored fabric with dark blue cross stitching. It's all one color. And I didn't want to do those colors. One of my most favorite colors is blue, and so I wanted to do something with that. So this is, and I have not ironed anything, okay? But this is the cross stitch that I just finished. So it is a Quaker with a wonderful saying in the middle that says, "We can disagree and still love each other unless your disagreement is rooted in my oppression and denial of my humanity and right to exist." So I am a strong ally of the LGBTQIA+ community, and I thought that this was most fitting for me to be able to stitch. This is stitched on a, let's see here, this is 14 count Aida robin egg, and the floss, the single color of floss that I used, it was 870, DMC 870. So here it is again, just so you can see it. But it's a nice quiet way for me to spend evenings. So that is one that I just recently finished. So let me put that over here. And that fabric, by the way, that 14 count Aida Robin's egg is by Millennial Fabrics. So, and then the other one that I stitched is a 28 count Lugana, and it was called Blueberry. And this is a pattern by Condren. Erin Condren, could not think of her first name. But this is basically Arctic animals, and I don't think it actually had a name to it. It was in a book, and so, you know, this is basically amazing things. That narwhal there, the unicorn of the sea, by the way, that narwhal was no joke getting that thing done. Anyway, and this is, like I said, a 28 count Lugana, and I'm pretty sure that the color was Blueberry. So, yeah. So that's just a couple of the ones that I have recently finished, and I'll share more with you going forward of things that I have recently finished. I have a whole stack of them because I really enjoy the stitching process. So, but I also really enjoy getting things done. That's another thing about me. So, yeah. So a couple of cross stitches that I am working on right now. Oh, no, yeah, let me share with you the ones I'm working on right now. Okay, so the other thing that I do as well, and I'm going to talk about that more in a minute, is I like to make project bags. So this is a project bag that I made, and I follow the tutorial here on YouTube by Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. And so here, these are patches from the space program that my friend Rhiannon sent to me, and she said, "Does anybody want these?" And I said, "Oh, I will take them." And I put them on a project bag, which is really fitting. And then she also sent me this NASA pin to support the LGBTQIA+ community. And so I am, I love, love, love very much this bag that I made. It was fun putting all of those patches to use. And she also sent me patches that were from her time in Antarctica. So she is a geologist as well, but she studies meteorites. And so she was a part of the 6-month team that went into Antarctica looking for meteorites. And so she had all of those, and she sent me those as well. She also cross stitches, so I made a project bag for her too. So the cross stitch that I'm working on right now, one of them is called Banner of Benevolence. And this is what it looks like, and it is by Silver Creek Samplers. Sorry about the pink tag in there, that's my colors. I'm changing my colors because I didn't want it to look so vintage. And Banner of Benevolence says, all people have value, beliefs are personal, rights are universal, peace begins with a smile, there is beauty and strength in diversity, the strength of a community lies within the unity of its neighbors, freedom exists only if it applies to everyone, the world is full of friends we have yet to meet, our differences make us beautiful, choose to be curious, not judgmental, we can all strive to be better human beings, kindness is free, love will always win. And I thought all of those sayings on there just spoke to me. There were so many of them that absolutely, well, they all resonated, right? But there were some. So for instance, the world is full of friends we have yet to meet. I mean, think about Rob and Jilly and, Smokey and everybody that, I would never have met if it hadn't been for Postcrossing, right? So yeah, there's just so much there. So let me show you my current stitching. I am just now starting. And so this is, by the way, Fiber on a Whim. It is 28 count Lugana even weave in the color of cornflower. So all I have so far is this right here. So again, I've changed up my fabric. It's now this cornflower blue color. And then I wanted to brighten up the colors. So if you take a look at this chart, the colors there are kind of muted, the red, white, and blue. And I instead wanted it to be a little bit brighter. So I have changed up the colors on mine. And so, yeah, so I'm working on that. I actually worked on it for a little bit last night. So that is one of the first ones that I'm working on. And then the second one that I'm working on, this is another project bag that I made. I cross-stitched this, and this is a pattern off of Etsy, and I just love these little sheep. They're so cute. And I sewed it on the front rather than sewing patches or pieces of fabric around the edges, and so it got on there all Kenny Wampus. But I thought to myself, well, that's kind of how I roll, is just kind of Kenny Wampus. And oh, on the inside, we're looking at a rainbow colored. And so this pattern is by Tiny Modernist, and this is a Biscornu, and it is unicorns, which I absolutely love as part of the unicorn gang. And so I have the bottom stitched. This is on a 14 count opal Aida. Opal just meaning that there is some glittery threads in there. I don't think you can see them. You might be able to, but this is the bottom. And then I have 2 of the unicorns stitched right now in that. And so I will keep stitching the other 2 unicorns and get them done. And then this is my first Biscornu, and then put that together. So I'm looking forward to that. And again, that is on 14 count Opal Essence Aida. So those are the projects that I'm currently working on. I already have my next project. Sorry. Oh, I'm just going to leave it in the packaging because that's going to make a lot of noise. But this is the 250th birthday of the United States. So the semi-quincentennial birthday. And so my next project is going to be Glory in the Wind. And I want to thank Helen D for this. She was giving this away, and this is actually my very favorite pattern from market this year. And so this is Glory in the Wind, and it is by Robin Pickens. And so I am getting ready to start this, and I bought a piece of 14 count country vintage mocha to put this on. And so this is going to be my next pattern. So I've got that in the works. So that is all of my cross stitch. So the other thing that I like to do is I enjoy making project bags. And typically when I cross stitch, I tend to only have one, maybe two projects going on at a time because I really enjoy getting them finished, okay? So I have no reason to have 11 billion project bags, but 11 billion project bags is what I have. So I'm going to share with you just a couple of the project bags that I've made so far and tell you a little bit about them. So the first one is one that is for the Los Angeles Chargers. They will always be the San Diego Chargers to me. And again, this is following the tutorial from Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. And on the inside, it is just Chargers yellow. So yellow fabric on the inside. The other one that I put together, there's dog hair on here from Miss Haven, who's laying down here beside me. This is Wacky Woolies from Ireland. This is a tea towel that I bought when I traveled to Ireland, and I made it into a project bag. So I love this. I love sheep. And so this is one that I put together. Then the other one that I put together, this one here, notice it's sheep as well. This is a tea towel that I bought in New Zealand. And I made this into a project bag, and I am loving it. Another tea towel that I made into a project bag, again, dog hairs all over the place. It's just plain on the front, but it is, please don't pet the fluffy cows. So I got this tea towel when I was in Yellowstone a couple of years ago. And so I am loving that one. Then I saw this fabric at Hobby Lobby, and it is my colors. And so I made this one, and I made the little zipper pull as well. And on the inside, it is a purple, a lavender polka dot. So this is a project bag that I made. The next one, I wanted desperately this little charm here. And so I thought, well, I need to make a red project bag to go with it. So I did, and on the inside, the polka dot that you see here, that's what's on the inside of this one as well. And then my friend Laura, she got some fabric that was on the Buy Nothing group, and she said, I don't want this, do you want it? And I said, sure. So this is a Tinkerbell fabric, and on the inside, was it stars? Yeah. So on the inside, it's stars that I made, and my little tag showing that I made it. And so the next one that I'm going to make is one that I will make a lot of sense to you, knowing what I do. So I bought fabric, and it is these fish, these swimming fish, and bubbles. So those are that's going to be a project bag coming up. The fish will basically be on the outside with that as a highlight, and on the inside. So yeah, so those are the project bags that have been working on, and I enjoy doing. I enjoy pulling out my sewing machine and working on that. Then the last thing I think that I want to talk with you about that I have been enjoying is reading. And so for reading, number one, um, recently I read Project Hail Mary. And if you have not read Project Hail Mary, you should definitely read it. As you know, the movie has recently come out. I have seen it 4 times. It is a fantastic movie. It is 2 hours and 35 minutes long, and it is not long enough in my book. It was absolutely fantastic. I will go see it again every chance that I get. Being in the big theater was fantastic. But I loved the book. I finished the book on a Wednesday. I went and saw the movie on Friday on the day it opened. And then on Saturday, I left for the Bahamas. But I knew I had to see that movie before I left. So I went ahead and saw it. And then after coming back, I saw it 3 more times. So I highly recommend it. So that was a book that I recently finished. And I am currently reading Packing for Mars by Mary Roach. Okay. And I'm going to see if I can figure out the way, put a picture in here. I'm learning some new techniques, so I'm going to try and put a picture in here. But Mary Roach writes nonfiction, and it's all about what it takes to go into space and, for the astronauts and everything else. And so I am enjoying that a lot. I usually read when I'm going to bed in the evenings. I read on my Kindle, and so that backlight on the Kindle is really fantastic. But then I was watching a YouTube video this morning. It was a new content creator to me, Kensington Creates, and she was talking about this idea of reading just 12 pages a day. Like literally, I watched this 2 hours ago, okay? And I have this stack of books that I am partially through and everything. And I thought, well, this would be a good thing to do if I can just make sure I read 12 pages a day. And she was talking about how she reads those 12 pages before she goes to work in the morning. And funny enough, she is also a university professor. So I decided to go ahead and start pulling out books that I had started and hadn't finished for one reason or another. Spring at school is always a very busy semester for me. And so I didn't have the opportunity to be able to get that done. This book. So I am currently getting back to reading The World is Blue, How Our Fate and the Oceans Are One by Sylvia Earle. Sylvia Earle is an incredibly famous marine biologist. And you all know my love for marine biology. My background is in marine biology. I study starfish and all of their relatives in the fossil record. So anyway, I am actually at this point on they don't have chapter numbers, but it's called Taking Wildlife 3, The Shellfish. So that's where I'm at in the book right now. And the reason I put it down is because, like I said, spring is an incredibly busy semester for some reason, and especially as it gets to the end. So I taught my last class for the spring semester the other day, but now what happens is that everybody's trying to cram everything into our schedules because, I don't know if you know this or not, but university professors are only 9-month employees. And so on May 15th, we go what's called off contract. And we're off contract for 3 months. We don't get paid. We do have our benefits because we pay for our benefits, like our health insurance and all of that, throughout the year. In that 9 months, we pay for 12 months worth of stuff in that 9 months. But we don't get paid or anything over the 3 months that we are off. And so, so what happens is that all of the people who are 12-month employees are trying to cram in all of the meetings and everything before we actually take off for our 3-month break. And so anyway, that is coming up and on the 15th. Today is May 3rd as I am recording this. So it's just always really busy and everything. And I am also teaching summer school this year. And so when I teach summer school, that means I have to get prepped for those classes as well. So I'm trying to get all of that done so that I can, enjoy a little bit of time off during the summer as well. My classes for the summer are going to be online. And so I won't be actually teaching face-to-face at that point. So anyway, it's been a really busy semester, but I'm happy to get back to this book again. But like I said, I am still reading it at night. I read every night before I go to bed for about an hour. So other than that, I'll just give you a little couple of personal updates. Haven and I are both doing really well. She is laying right here. There's a window right here, and she lays underneath the window, and she likes to look outside to see what's going on out there. She's been helping me out in the garden. We planted our garden a couple of weeks ago. We have 11 tomato plants. We have 5 pepper plants, 2 zucchini, a whole bunch of Swiss chard, a whole bunch of cilantro, and I think that's it for right now. But I've got some space still in my raised beds that we're going to be planting as well. I like to stagger, for instance, the cilantro and other herbs and things like that. So yeah, we've been taking our morning walks. She loves going around the neighborhood. And so we've been doing that as well. But other than that, I can't really think of anything that's going on. Oh, going back to cross stitch, if you are a cross stitcher, I'm going to be going to StitchCon, which is a convention coming up in Cincinnati, which funny enough is my PhD site. That's where I was working on fossils that are located in that area. And so I'll be going up to StitchCon for that, coming up in just about a month and a half now. So I'm looking forward to that. So I think that's it for today. I hope you like the new format. I hope that I'm able to figure out the new format to get it working. But until I see you again, please stay safe and healthy. And please don't forget that vaccines save lives. All right, until I see you again, bye for now.